Hello, my name is Danielle Benoit. I teach at Raceland Upper Elementary. I'm passionate about not only teaching our curriculum, but also about teaching students who are socially capable. I want my students to understand kindness, respect, and just a general understanding of others. In my classroom, we are a family. I teach the 4th grade. This lesson is focused on the standard of describing in depth a character, setting, or event. We chose to focus on characters because the PCR prompt asked them to give a theme based on the characters. They have to do 2 things. They have to identify a theme, and then they have to explain why that's the theme based on the characters. This lesson goes along with my overall strategy of developing students who can not only state a claim, but also prove their claim. That tends to be the most difficult part for students, to find evidence and reasoning in their writing. This class is a higher level class. Those few who do struggle, I put them with a higher level student, and sometimes that just creates magic, where you hear conversations that you didn't expect. They are quite capable of performing well, and they know my expectations are high. So I hope you enjoy our lesson. So today in our lesson, we are going to learn to describe a character, setting, or event by drawing on specific details. Does anybody know what this is about? Addie? It's sort of like star. Yes. Star is what? What do we use star for? Haley? With the character. Says, feelings, actions, relationships. Okay, you just reviewed this. What do characters have? What do we remember that characters usually have? Oh, okay, they could. I'm looking for something slightly different. Janai? What do characters have?
Personality.
They have personalities, and we call their personality, say it again, traits. We call their personalities character traits. So today we're going to practice figuring out how those characters and their traits can help us find, ultimately, y'all remember what our writing prompt is about?
The theme.
Theme, right? So we're going to see how can these character traits and the things that these characters do teach us a lesson, which is theme. All right, so let's go ahead and read our objectives so we know exactly what it is we're going to be doing. Everyone is reading. Ready?
I can describe in depth a character, setting, or event, and a story drawing on specific details from the text.
All right, let's break this apart. Y'all see some important words? What do you see, Cheyenne?
Describe.
Okay. Describe is what type of word? Class?
Action.
An action word, right? It tells you to do something, okay? Okay? And then let's break up these other parts. We know this is part of something. We have a character, we have a setting, and the event kind of is the same thing as plot. What do those 3 things make up? What do they make up?
A story.
Story.
Structure.
Ready? Story. Structure.
It's how the story's built.
All right. So all 3 parts, all of these 3 parts build our story. And today we're going to focus on the character part. All right. So we're going to watch a quick video. As we are watching, our heads are up. We are facing the front. We are listening for something we're going to tell our shoulder partner. So you have a job to do while you're watching. She said, brave, scary, greedy. Those are examples of traits, character traits. traits. One word that tells you something about their traits. What's a trait?
Personality.
Their personality, what that character is like. And like she's saying, there's so many different things that a character could be, right? And sometimes, do they change?
No. Yes.
Yeah. Can they change?
Yes.
Yes. Usually once they learn a lesson, their traits are a bit different. Go ahead and find your shoulder partner and tell them something you learned. The ducks that were teasing the swan, they were kind of mean and rude, but once they realized they were hurting the swan's feelings, they changed. They became his friend. Toby? Yes, one character can have tons of different traits, right? Just like people. Pascal?
The theme of the story shows how the characters learn their lesson and what the powers of.
Yes, so the theme of a story can be found by looking at a character's problem and solution. What was their problem? How did they react to that problem? What did they learn? So we're going to talk about what our writing is for this week. So already, what scale are we writing on this week, class? C. We looked at this yesterday. Y'all remember this? We deconstructed our prompt yesterday and we figured out what was our most important information we needed out of that prompt, right? What were our two action words? Cheyenne?
Identify and explain.
Identify and explain. Those two words told you that you had to do specific things. Identify means to tell. Explain means to really describe. Okay? So if we go down here, let's go ahead and read this out loud, what we came up with, so that we can all remember. Hands up, please. Ready?
Identify a theme in both stories. Explain how the theme of each story is shown through the characters.
You have to tell, first of all, what is the theme, and then you have to say, how do you know that that's the theme? Okay? Today, we kind of already figured out the theme as we were reading, because it was pretty clear. What did we figure out the theme was? Yeah. Not to judge someone before you even knew them. Who was our main character? Class?
James.
James. And who did he judge?
Uncle Romy.
Uncle Romy. And he judged him before he really even met him, right? So we learned from James that you should never, you remember the figurative language?
Never judge a book by its cover.
Never judge a book by its cover. That was the lesson we learned. That was the idiom. That was the theme of the story. Today, we're going to work to prove how do we know that based on what James said and did. Real quick, before we get into groups and really work on James, I wanted to show you exactly what we're going to do today on a practice run together. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to have you move into groups in a few minutes. And I'm going to give you some directions. You will only do one part of STAR with your group, just to save time. So you're not going to be doing every single one, because that's a lot. So like one group will be focused on what James said. One group will be focused on what he thought. Another on his actions. Another on his relationships. And then we'll report out so that we can all hear the results, okay? So, when I put you in groups, you will each have a role if you have a group of 3, you'll have this last one. If not, you don't need that role, okay? So partner 1 will be the writer. Partner 2 will be the reporter, someone who will stand up and tell the class what you found. And if you have a 3rd partner, they'll be the facilitator. That person is supposed to keep everybody on task. All of these jobs are all very important, and I expect you to be doing them. Okay, so what we're going to do is do exactly what we did. You're going to have beginning, middle, and end. And you're going to find a piece of proof from your book. You're going to share it with your partner, and then you're going to write it. I'm going to review these directions once we're in groups. Okay? Everybody wants to have a fun summer. Okay. What else does he think? He's on a train. He's nervous. Yeah. Wouldn't you be nervous? Try to write all that.
Because this beginning.
He won't have a good birthday.
I would be nervous. In New York. This is favorite place in New York. Harlem. Yes. What does he say when he visits Harlem? Feel the beat.
I already told you.
Yes.
But that was basically the middle.
Yes. Well, you're on the middle. So write it on your board.
I told him I feel
Okay. We'll put it on your board. Overall thing that they don't judge both sides covered. Okay? So, in the beginning, you had James, Martin, and X. What about Uncle Rocky? Relationship back then. Yeah, probably pretty strong. Right? A strong relationship. If you went to a baseball game with your uncle, I think you need to make sure to put that progression that at first. This is true. James did love him and X. But he didn't know anything about Uncle Romy. In the middle, he was actually kind of mad at him. He thought he only knew about Tammy. And at the end, he loved Uncle Romy. You remember what he said? Uncle Romy is a good man. Well, add those in.
He thinks that he's going with strangers that he doesn't know.
Nice. I love it. You guys picked up on a piece of his nervousness, right? Okay. The middle.
He misjudged his uncle about the baseball tickets and the cake.
Ah, he did know about baseball. Okay. And the end.
He thinks that him and Uncle Romy had a good relationship and they had a lot in common.
Oh, I like it. A lot in common, right? Nobody else picked up on that one either. Very nice, girls. He says at the end, ooh, we have a lot in common. That's kind of where he realizes that Uncle Romy is a good guy. All right, let's give them a hand. I'm proud of you. Good job. So when we're thinking about this story, I'm going to wrap it up by saying when we go to do our writing, we're going to state the theme of the story is don't judge a book by its cover. And then we're going to use all these pieces of evidence that you came up with today as your proof. So we're going to say James was nervous at the beginning. He didn't know Uncle Romy. In the middle, he was even angry because he didn't want Uncle Romy to do his birthday party. He thought he only knew about painting. But at the end, he learned Uncle Romy did know about all that, and he was a good man. Do you feel like you're prepared to do our writing?
Yes.
We're going to have all this to use, right? All right, so that ends our lesson. The lesson went as I expected. It was productive. The students met my expectations. I felt as though they were on task, and because we had practiced doing the procedure of exactly how to find the evidence for each part of STAR what the character says, thinks, actions, and responsibilities. Since we had practiced so much together, when it was time for them to do it in group work, they were really on task. They knew what to do. I really felt actually as though I could have just not been there and they still would have known what to do. They were very productive, on task. They were talking well with each other. And so I did feel like it went well, and they met what I expected of them. If I were to do the lesson again, I would create a note-taking sheet so that when we did the reflection time, as they listened to each group, they could jot notes down. That way, when we did the brainstorming the next day, a lot of the work would already have been done. So I hope you enjoyed our lesson.